The real Billy T story, never seen on TV. Billy T, T-movie. What a great movie it is. Available now on DVD.
Yeah, g'day, yeah, how you doing, eh? You alright? Hey, listen, what do you think of that movie, Billy T. James? Boy, geez, he's a character, isn't he? Oh, I thought I might be able to impersonate him, eh? But I couldn't keep up with that. He's too good. Holy Moses. I just looked at his video, eh? The real Billy T. James story, never seen on TV before. And I had a look at it, and at the finish, I cried. Oh yeah, I cried my eyes out, because it was very sad. The man had a wonderful talent, and he only lived to 42 years of age. Too short. Oh, well, I could never take off Maoris. I could never be a Maori. In fact, I think I might have some Maori blood in me, though, because my great-grandfather come from Taiapi, and my grandfather never got married until he was in his 50s, and I don't know what he was doing before that. But anyway, I think I might have a bit of Maori in me, right? That's why I like to come on and put a hat on and try and act like a Maori. Yeah, because you got to laugh, you know. Billy T. James was one of the greatest comedians Timaru New Zealand's ever had, okay? He was funny, really funny, and he wasn't afraid to sling off at his own kind. He slung off at the Maoris, he slung off at the Pākehās, he slung off at the Asians, everybody at all he would take off. And he got away with it because he was good, he was very clever. And most people accepted the humour, great humour. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty good at wearing the towel because Billy T. James used to have a towel around his neck. Let me show you the one with the towel around his neck. Just a minute.
Here's another DVD of Billy T. James, the TV series. The dramatic love story of New Zealand's most loved entertainer, Billy T. James. You can hire this at United Video. It's $8 for 5 days. Okay? What a great movie it is.
Yeah, did you notice that Billy T had a yellow towel around his neck? I put a yellow towel around my neck, eh? But I could never be Billy T. James. There's no way I could ever be that. But I'm happy with the towel around my neck because I used to be a shearer. And when we were shearing, we always had a towel around our neck. Yeah, and it's quite good, eh? Because you can wipe your brow like that, you know, when you're sweating and that. So today I want to talk to you about Maoris. Now, I tell you what, I love Maoris. They're a great race of people, right? Hard case, they've got a great sense of humour. And they can play music, any musical instrument, they can sing, they can dance, they can do anything, right? And they're a lovely race of people. Now, I live in the South Island. I've been down here for 50-odd years. But I'm really a North Islander, right? And I was brought up amongst the Maoris. I went to school with the Maoris in Korokanui, which is a place outside of Timaru. Went to school there with the Hauepas. And then I went to school with Maoris at Piupiu, because we shifted to Piupiu, and I went to school there for a while and met a lot of the Maoris. And then we shifted to Te Puke in the Bay of Plenty. And lots of Maoris there at the Te Puke High School. I went to Te Puke High School. So I had a lot to do with Maoris. And I reckon I laugh at their accent, their humour, their sense of humour, right? Yeah, sorry about that, Eho. I had to close the door because the wife keeps walking past, you see, in the corridor, and she could see her on my television here. Yeah, well, what was I talking about? I was talking about, yeah, the Maoris, where I used to live, yeah. I used to live in all sorts of places in the North Island, and I played rugby with the Maoris in the Rotorua competition. We lived in Rotorua. We also lived at Matata, which is in the Bay of Plenty, near Wakatani there. So I had a lot to do with Maoris, and I love their sense of humour. Some of the sayings really make me laugh. Let me tell you about a couple of them. They have a habit of saying, "I turned around and said." And I've never seen anyone turn around and say anything yet, but it's always, "I turned around and said." And another thing they do, "How did you get here?" "Oh, I come on the car." They never come in the car, they come on the car. I always think that's amusing. And another thing, I was at school one day and I had a ripped shirt, had a big rip in my shirt, and this Maori boy came up to me and said, "Hey boy, you got a broken shirt." It wasn't a torn shirt or a ripped shirt, it was a broken shirt, right? Because they have broken English. They've between the Maori language and the Kiwi language, they're real hard case, right? And I love them for that. Yeah, and I used to go to school on the school bus, you see, and there was a few Maoris on the school bus, and one hard case fella, in Te Puki there, he used to, he'd yell out the school bus. He'd say, he'd see a Maori boy walking down the street, and he'd say, "Hey, hore, geez, you're black. Lucky you smiled, I wouldn't have seen you." So they have each other on all the time like that. I tell you what, another time I'll remember, we had a school teacher called Frank Latimer. He was a school teacher when we lived in Te Puki. And he used to come on the bus with us, you see, when we go home from school. Frank had come on the bus. And Frank lived in a house which needed a coat of paint, you know what I'm saying? And it was a pretty rough house. And of course, when we pull up outside his house, all us fellas would say, "Oh, look at your old house there, Frank." Oh, us Pākehās would say, "Look at the old house, why don't you give it a paint?" And Frank stood up the front of the bus one day and he said, "Listen, you Pākehās," he said, "that might be not a nice looking house, but I tell you one thing, I own it. More than you buggers. You live in the flash house, but it's not yours. Mine's paid for." I thought that was pretty good. Yeah, the good fellas, Maoris. I love them. A few niggers in the woodpile, excuse the saying, but there is a few niggers. Few bad ones. There's a few in jail and that, but, you know, it's their culture. One of the things the Maoris have as a culture is they share everything. Everything is shared, right? You get up in the morning, the first one up gets the best clothes because they think everything belongs to them, you see. And you share stuff. And that's why sometimes they pick up stuff and get had up for pinching stuff, you know. As Billy T. James said on the video, he said, where did I get my bag? "Well, I pinched it," he said. I pinched it. Yeah. Hard case, eh? I've got hard case sayings. Chair means pretty good, eh? Chair. Or choice. Yeah. And if they don't like it, it's stink, eh? Oh, stink, eh? Choice and stink. It's either choice and stink or stink. Yeah, hard case. Now, Billy T. James was Billy Tiatoko, I think that was his surname. And he changed his name to a Pākehā name. He called himself Billy T. James, you see. And I've got a similar name. I'm Ron E. Bishop, right? Billy T. James, Ron E. Bishop. And I try to be funny from time to time. I have lots of different kinds of videos. And sometimes I'm growling at people, sometimes I'm promoting people, sometimes I'm doing different stuff. And I like to give you a bit of variety. But I was telling you I used to be a sheep shearer. And I saw with a guy, a bloody good Maori bloke called Harry Hughes. You may have heard of Harry Hughes. Boy, could he shear sheep. He was a good shearer. And he was a great mate, a great shearing mate. I used to shear with him in Wanaka. We went up there to Gordy McLeod was the contractor, and Harry Hughes and I, we used to shear together. And boy, we'd buy a big tin of mutton birds and all sorts of things. We'd go over the West Coast, get some whitebait, and we had a great time, and you know, when it was raining and that. And yeah, great bloke, Harry Hughes. And Eddie Reedy and George Podai and all these guys that were shearing at the time, great people. Oh, wonderful, wonderful Maoris. Because they worked hard, you see. Had the collar around, had the sweat of the brow. The sweat of the brow. Had the towel around the neck, black singlet, and bloody, long as they had a bottle of beer after work, bloody good blokes. Okay? Hey, listen, I got to go and put this up because, what's the time? Geez, you're getting along. 4:15. I better go. I'm doing 2 today. Okay? I'm putting up 1,000 videos too, by the way. Right? Bit of everything. Today's the month about the Maoris. So see you, horries. Look after yourself and be kind to the missus and that, eh? Don't go beating her up or anything like that. Behave yourself, you buggers. Okay. See you, mate. Bye.